Okay, so good morning once again. So this is part 2 para sa atong pag-set up sa Code Igniter as our application for our RESTful service, and then Ionic for our front end. So sa kaniyang video, I'm going to demonstrate saon pag gamit sa atong gipang set nga RESTful endpoints nga mogamit na kita og model, no? Model to basically get data from our database. Okay, so let me just remove this because we don't want this. Okay, so gani ha, or sa part 1, I think ang ato lang gi-echo out is a very basic testing if we can access these endpoints. Now this time I have configured the code igniter and created a new model. So I have added a model, I call it user model. Tapos nag-define ang duha ka method niya, no, wherein we can get sets of users and we can also insert. Now let me check if recording. Okay, now dire for the users get, I'm going to query the database. So I'm using the active records of Codeigniter to get data from the database, and then using the REST controller, I will respond the set of data, no? And then sa kaning endpoint dire kani for posting new user account, akong gibuhat is nag-define kong model to insert, no, a new user, and then basically I will receive a posted data, which is username and password, and then ako rin siyang i-process, i-insert, and then yan, reply if successful or failed. Now pwede na to ni siya i-test, no? So i-test using Postman if we can. Now I have created already several tests here, pero again I'm just gonna show you how this is done. So let me close everything. Now using Postman we can test that endpoints if we can actually access data and post data there. Now to access data we will just use this path here or endpoint to get data from our basically RESTful service. Now this one has no authentication, no wala pa tayo authentication process, pero anyway we will just test if everything will just work. Okay, anyway, so send yan. So as you notice, we were able to nakakuha tawag data gikan sa ato ang database, which ang atong database by the way is already populated with in this case na siya several testing, so na siya mga populated nga mga data. Now yan, but yun, our endpoint is okay and we can actually get those data from that endpoint. Now let's add another. Now let's test our post endpoint, and to test our post data we need to pass on parameter. Now we can go here, set parameters in the body. It's already there, so body, then click raw. We will pass on a JSON data, no? So this is essential, no, passing JSON data, because most likely sa atong application magpasa ng value is JSON data format. So pasa tawag JSON data with key and value pair. So let's have this ABC test, password of ABC test, now for testing purposes. Now again, go to body and then click this one, then you can test your endpoint if you will be able to get data. Now let's see what will happen. So ayan, so we get a reply of successfully added. So if you try to check it here, tanaw na to, successfully added. Ito yung review ang database. There you go. So na-add ang atong test. So therefore, kaning endpoint is okay na siya. So ready na ta to use this endpoint. Now we are going to go to our front end, which is our mobile app. Now there is a mobile app. Ako lang sa ning i-open. No? I have already a default setup of Ionic. So ako na lang ning ipadagan sa Ionic serve. Okay, so typical gyapon nga file, no? We have the module, we have the component, the root component and the module, no? So we are going to work with this application here. So I already created a basic template, which is I write down here sa home page ang REST Ionic, and we will going to define data here. Now, so first things first is atong task is we will try getting a data from our RESTful service. So to actually access the para ma-access nato ni kinahanglan ta mo gamit sa HTTP module and service sa Angular, no, in our Ionic app. Okay, so atong buhaton is ato siyang i-import una ang HTTP module. Actually, it's HTTP client module, and then from Angular common / HTTP. So, the time na ito nang i-insert dira, and ato na siyang i-import diri sa ato ang application. There you go. Ayan. So, now that we have this, now we can use the HTTP client service. Now, to do that, I need to create a service for our HTTP. Now, for me, I think this is kind of a much better approach in working out with this kind of functionality, especially connecting to the server. So, new services, and then we'll call this http.service.ts. And this will be our file. Now, this will be our service. Now, everything that we will atong gamiton para ani will be work here. Dili na to ipa ani patrabaho ani nga service. So, para gamiton ni nga service, we need to use the injectable module as our decorator. And we will get it from the core Angular directory, and then we will then inject this, and we will export here for our class, and we will call this class as HTTP service. Sorry, hold on. There. Now, to use this service, of course, we need to register it to the module. So, kinahanglan na to siya i-register dire as one of the providers for our application. So, ang button is we will inject the service here. HTTP service from /it's in services/ command at lang din na siyang i-putang sa providers. Then, and then our service now is ready to be used in the home na class. Pero ato na siyang buhaton. Okay, we will use that later. We will just define muna what are those methods that we can use here sa ato ang service. Now, what the button is, we will just create a constructor first. We will use that later. And we will try to define methods. We need data, and then we also have post data. So, pagpasa data o pagdira sa data from the server or going to the server database. So, now, again, to perform or to access this database here that we have, kinahanglan ta mo gamit og service. So, for that, Angular has this what you call HTTP client from Angular common HTTP. Now, with this, you can then post and get data from here going to the server, and from the server going here. First, we will try getting data from the server. Now, to use this, kinahanglan sa nato siyang i-inject. Okay, so HTTP, so HTTP client. And then, what we will do is we will use that service this.http, and then that is daghan mga options na pwede ninyong gamitan dali. For us, we will just use get. then atong ipasa diri is the URL, no? So the URL atong tag. Now kini nga URL, we can use this URL here since na-test naman nato nga kani nga URL is working and we can actually get data from the server. So atong buhaton is ato lang siyang butang. And again, it's also good that you need to know what is an observable in Angular because HTTP basically is an observable object here. So this will not be used by Angular not unless we do subscribe from this observable object. So ito na siyang i-return because this will give us an observable object later on. So atong gamiton na ni, no? So since ato namang na-define, now we will use this service here sa ato ang homepage. Use this, kinahanglan nato siyang import. Then we will call onto HTTP service and call this from that services slash HTTP service. Now for this service, ato lang din ihapon siyang i-declare here. Create a new instance of that particular private service HTTP service. Okay, so since now we have that, we will define a method here ato ang home, no, to give us that data. We need to create a method, no, which will trigger later on using an event, no. So we can say do get, and for this I will use that HTTP. So this that HTTP that get data. Since this is a service, oh no, sorry, it's an observable, then we can say subscribe, and then inside subscribe we can actually pass on. Trying to check it again. Okay, use the IntelliSense. Oops. For subscribe we can pass several parameters. Anyway, we can pass an observer here, so but we will use an anonymous function, no? We will assign it to a parameter, and using arrow function then we will try and console log the response that we get. We can also define an error data or reply if you want to check on if there are errors. If you want to catch those errors or get those errors, then you can also do that, no? So now let us test this application. Now basically we need to call onto this method to perform. Now we can add a button to call this event, bind this to an event, or we can also simply say this that to get, so that at the time that this homepage will be loaded, this method will be called upon. So let's check. Okay, now we are actually able to pull the data from the database. So our implementation is working now. So for now we need to bind, or to display the data we need to assign it to an array. Since it's an array, so say like that, we need to pass this response value to an array. So we can simply say this dot data array is equal to response. There you go. Now we can pass it into this, and then this variable we can bind this to our display here. So to bind it we need to, let's say let's have an ion, we'll use a list, and to display the result I'm gonna put label here, and then we'll say list of data or users, and you can add an ion item here, and using structural directive we can use ng4, and let's say data of data array. Then we try to display, let's say, we'll just try and display the username out of all those things that we displayed. So say username. So let's check our app. And as you notice, we were successfully able to pull all the list of users that we got from the database, which is this one. So that's how you do get using get method. That's how you do it with get. Now, we can add more several things for this. Like, for example, pwede tayo magdugang og authorization. Pero, anya na siya. No? Or, let's say, authentication. Pero, anya na to siya button after this next video. After this next operation. Now, we will also do push data to our uh, server. Now, for this, we will also use the post and with the same, actually the same, because we have also defined post, nag-define mo batag post diri nga endpoint, so we can use it like this. Ang ato lang is, ang difference lang niya is to do posting manggod kinahanglan og pass na ta og parameter. And then with that, we can actually do something like ngani pass na ta og parameter. Now, para ma-perform na tong post, let's create another interface or template here. Pangalan na to sulod. Instead ion item. So what we will do is ato na ning copy and paste, and then ion input, and same thing kung ato na ning isa. Try mag-add ng tawag. So say insert. Running attribute elective plus color primary and say full, and then it's the large button. Kini ito na yung butang type versus password. Ang isa nga type is text. Tangalan na to mga placeholder. Placeholder username. Placeholder password. Ayan. Now, pwede sila ito paning ipang-bind, no? Una, to trigger an event, kinahanglan ka mag-bind to insert, i-bind na to ang event nga itong gamiton. So we will just say to save or say do insert there. And then kaya ito ning i-bind using two-way binding. So we can assign it here. So ng model equals to password. So kaning nga mga method of value or event or variable is wala pa na ito nag-declare. So ito lang i-define daan diri. Then ito na siyang gamiton na dito. So ang button is ito na i-declare say username. Okay, now that we have this, I think let's check the interface. Ayan, so we have it here, no? So pwede ta maka-insert og bago nga data. Now, para ma-insert na to na, kinahanglan sa nato na ipang-bind ng mga value. So, of course, kinahanglan mag-declare og username, kinahanglan mag-declare og password, and kinahanglan ta do insert yung method. Yeah. Now, inside do insert method, kinahanglan na po nato gamiton ang HTTP nga service na itong ibuhat. Let's say post data. Now, posting data kinahanglan pa sa tag parameter. Now, what parameters do we get? So, to that, we need to say declare a variable JSON data. So, again, it's a JSON data that we're going to post dito sa server. So, might as well, kapihon na lang nato nga format. So, muna siya itong i-pasa. Okay. Then, change lang nato ng value. Pag-delete sa static. Then, should be username. This would be password. And pwede na to siya i-pass again dire. Then we can then subscribe and then pass three parameters. We can say response. And then we can also say error. And now, comma. Yeah. So with this, pwede na to i-check kung say reply dito sa atong server. So say console.log response. Pwede po na to ignon nga every time na bagong ma-add nga data atong i-update ang atong list by calling or invoking. Now, ato lang din i-log ang ato ang error. And let's test if this will work. No? So, atong i-test if we can insert a new data to the database. So, testing na to. Say, new data. Goes to new 1, 2, 3. Insert. We were able to insert a new data. So, you notice it was also inserted there sa list. And kung tanaw na itong database, ayan. So, we were successful in creating post and get. So, that is how you implement it. Now, you can do whatever implementations you like. For me, I think it's best to use a service in order for us to transact HTTP requests to the server. No? So, and so this is how you can implement post and get in Ionic going to our RESTful endpoint. So, kani, kulang pa ni. It's because this is not safe yet. No? Because anyone who knows these endpoints can actually access this, get our data, and post. Now, kinanglan na to siya is secure na ang maka-access lang ani is katulang mga valid users. Now, for that, para mabuhat na to na, we will create a JSON Web Token or an authentication process basically para ang maka-access lang ani nga mga endpoints is katulang mga valid user nga naka-register sa atuang system. But for this video, diri lang sa tataman, no? And then we will proceed to another set of videos. So we have met our task. We were able to set up a model and get and post. No? So anyway, if you need the source code for this, I can also provide the source code after we are all done in this tutorial. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.